Today on the WEInvested podcast, we have Antoine Campbell, and he is the founder of Antoine Campbell Enterprise, Antoine Campbell University, ProspectVault.io, and Ecomm plug. Antoine, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And look, before we get started, can you let the people know where they can find you on social media and the internet?
It's everything CEO 929, Instagram CEO 929, Facebook, YouTube, everything.
For sure, for sure. And before we get started, man, I saw that on your website, CEO929.com. What's the significance of the 929?
So that's my date of birth, and CEO just stands for Chief Executive Officer, and I just felt like you the CEO of your life. So that's how I came up with it.
For sure, man. So, let's just kind of take it from the top, man, and talk a little bit about, where you from and where you grew up.
I'm from Washington, D.C., man. I grew up in Southeast D.C. as well as PG County, Maryland. I've been around the Beltway, 495 Beltway all my life. I never moved outside of the D.C. area. And, man, I love D.C., man.
For sure. And so, how would you say that growing up in DC kind of impacted your outlook on life and success?
Growing up in DC in the early 90s, I was born in 88. I got a chance to see a lot, right? A lot of what not to do, as well as some good stuff too. Growing up, we used to walk to school, and back in the day, heroin was a really big thing, and we couldn't even play outside, man. It was needles on the ground, fiends in the alley having sex, all that crazy stuff. So it really humbled me. It showed me that you should appreciate life, seeing people get shot in the face, shot in the head, all of that good stuff that prepared me to as I got older, like, yo, you don't want to walk down that path.
For sure. And so, the kind of growing up in that environment and seeing the things that you saw, do you think it made you fearless when it came to business and starting things and kind of stepping out on your own and taking your own path?
Yeah. I mean, it made me to the point where I wasn't afraid to take risks, right? Because what could go wrong? You know what I mean? Like all my friends, we grew up, stole cars, all that, and then as you get older, you got to ask yourself what path you want to take to kind of like go into your 20s and your 30s. And for me, it was entrepreneurship. I loved it. I had a job, I had a job at 16 working at McDonald's, delivering pizzas. Man, I hustled to the point where I paid for my own graduation. I was missing some credits, bro, so I kind of like failed English. And then, the state of Maryland, you have to pass English to graduate, no exceptions. I had the credits, but I didn't have the core credits. So I ended up paying $600 a class for night school to pass 2 English classes, 10th and 11th. And by the time I got to the end of my year, I graduated, and I went straight to working, bro. Went straight to working.
That's what's up, man. So it sounds like, you always had that ambition and that drive and like that hunger to be better and to look for more.
Yeah, I sure did, man. My granddad, shout out to my granddad, rest in peace. He's dead and gone, but he kind of like let me go with him on the weekends to kind of experience that working, like manual labor working, tearing down houses, demo houses, putting down concrete, just working hard for your money, just doing it the right way.
For sure, for sure. And so, let's just kind of jump into some of the businesses that you have today. Like I mentioned earlier, you're the founder of 4 businesses: Antoine Campbell Enterprise, Antoine Campbell University, ProspectVault.io, and Ecomm plug. So, can you just talk a little bit more about the different companies that you created and the idea and the vision behind them?
Yeah, so I started with Antoine Campbell Enterprise. That's one of my main companies that own a lot of other small companies. And what we do is we take care of a lot of customers. We do a lot of high-level consulting. We come in and analyze people's businesses. We help them build, different spreadsheets and things of that sort. And within the Antoine Campbell Enterprise, we have a outsourcing agency. So we have a VA recruitment company that help entrepreneurs hire quality people for low rates. So we get you VAs from the Philippines around $4 an hour. So if you're an online entrepreneur and you need help with like marketing, editing for your podcast, spreadsheet generation, lead generation, we got to call prospects, things of that sort. That's what we do within the Antoine Campbell Enterprise. The Antoine Campbell University is a complementary to that. So we literally do all of the training. So like I said, we have trainers teaching people sales skills, marketing skills, how to scale their business. And that's what the Antoine Campbell University is: live webinars, live workshops, really hands-on type of learning. And then ProspectVault. ProspectVault is once again the complementary business to all the other 2 businesses. It's a software where you can host your funnels. You can build your funnels, your websites. You can do all your text message marketing. You can have the CRM to manage all your prospects, your clients. You can book people on your calendar. It's so much. Any other software that has an API integration, you can pretty much integrate with ProspectVault.
Man, that's incredible. So, how would you say that you got started in this industry, man? It seems like you're very like tech focused, very tech driven. How did you get started in this, and like what sparked that interest in it?
So I originally, like, once I came out of high school, right, bro, I created a few other companies, a fundraiser business. I didn't want to proceed with that because the partner I had and the partnership I created with someone, I didn't feel like they was ready for that. So I ended that partnership. I ended up starting a tag and title agency out here in Maryland, where it's a satellite office to the DMV. Instead of going into the DMV, picking up your tags and waiting 2-3 hours, I'm not sure where you from, bro.
North Carolina.
Yeah, so instead of, well, North Carolina might not be that busy, but instead of going to the DMV, picking up, your tags and waiting 2-3 hours, you come to my office, I have the tags for you, boom. And then once I got out that business, I looked at my wife and said, yo, like, I'm not happy in this business. I'm working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. This is not fulfilling me. The money is great, but it's not fulfilling me, right? So I took all of our savings and we went over to the real estate investing side of things, and we started a fix and flip company. Then we started wholesaling. Then we started virtually wholesaling. Long story short, we created a meetup, and then we started helping so many people. And then that's how we created the VA company. And the next thing you know, that's how we create our training business, because so many people need that education and training. And then I said a little last year, I really started to diversify my business holdings to other things that complemented my business. So that's where we came up with the ProspectVault and a really high level training and consulting. And when you look at businesses, like, it's not like we don't know what we want to do or what we're trying to accomplish, or we're all over the place. We are creating businesses that complement our other businesses. And that's what we're doing for the last, 24 months, is just building businesses that's complementing the current niche we're serving.
Man, that's incredible. And it just seems like you really found a formula in a way to vertically integrate all of your companies, like you said, so they can complement each other. And it takes people a while to figure out something like that. So, what would you credit your business acumen to? Like, what would you say kind of taught you about business and to let you know, like, hey man, this is how we need to stack our companies to make sure that they integrate well with each other?
Man, bro, like, believe it or not, when I was getting dressed for school in the morning, I was the kid that was watching the Bloomberg channel. So I was just listening to these CEOs and these executives talk. And one thing I noticed is their parent company always was looking for other companies to help out their main companies. Even when I worked at the hotel business, when I graduated high school and went down to the Gaylord, I worked in the banquets. And coincidentally, most of the people who rent these events and banquet spaces are big Fortune 500 companies, and they have their annual meetings here at these hotels. And I was the guy in the back of, I used to be in the banquet department bringing the food out, but we had to, clean the tables and stuff. And then IBM and Cisco and Costco's and Sam's Club, all these big companies, they would leave these books behind, bro, like teaching you all the different plays and what they're doing. And I just go home after I put my son to bed and just study these books. And literally, it gave me the mindset that, like, business is a very complex thing. And that if you create a problem, if you look at the marketplace problem and you create a solution to that problem, price is never an objection. So once I figured that out, man, that's when I started creating solutions. I said, you know what? I'm not creating businesses. I'm creating solutions to what people need and want.
For sure, man. And I think that's an incredible way to outlook to have on life, man. Just figuring out the problems that people have and figuring out how to help solve those problems for them. But a question that I want to ask you, you've been in this industry for over 20 years, over 2 decades, and you've helped, several businesses as a business consultant. What would you say are like some of the common problems or mistakes that you see new and up and coming business owners make?
The main thing is they don't want to invest in themselves and their business. They think that the business is just like a way to milk, and they don't want to put the money back into the business. Another big thing is they don't want to invest in quality people. They don't want to hire. They don't want to pay top dollar for good people to come in that can change their business. And lastly, they don't want to educate themselves. They don't want to go out and hit the road and go to a workshop. Like, I'm going to Atlanta, Georgia, April, and for 2 days I'm learning how to master creating better products, digital products, and how to fulfill and give them to my customers. And why am I going there? Because even though I'm gonna learn something for the 2 days, I'm a network and I'm gonna let people know what I do, and hopefully I walk away with some business. So I think that, people don't want to network, they don't want to pay people, and they don't want to put their heads in the books to study and perfect what they already know.
Nah, that's incredible, man. And I think that's just some great advice. Like you definitely dropped some gems. But with you having these, four successful businesses, and then to still hear you say, man, I'm still going to a conference in Atlanta, still, want to learn. Like what gives you that drive and makes you want to stay hungry and keep learning and keep perfecting your craft?
Man, I tell people like this, there's some kid out there in his parents' garage working on the next big thing, and he's willing to outwork you. And so my attitude is, no matter what my bank account reflects on, how much success that we accomplish, there's still more work to do because somebody's going to outwork you. If you look at some of the biggest companies, if you look at like Blockbuster, who laughed at Redbox, and you look at all these big retail companies who laughed at Amazon, ask me where they at right now. So my attitude is like, there's always a possibility somebody can take you out. So you got to be competitive. You got to understand the market trends. You got to understand how to take your business to the next level. And the only way to do that is get out there and see what's new and what's changing.
For sure. And so, when you were first getting started with your companies or even the ones prior to the ones that you have now, what would you say was like the first big investment that you made back into the company or back into yourself? What would you say is like that biggest investment that you can remember?
Like my most biggest investment starting out is just spending $1,000 on a workshop, right? And not understanding, how to take advantage of it. Now, most workshops fail for most people, bro. It's one simple reason. They don't write down their problems that they need to be solved before they go to the workshop. And then when they get in front of a coach or a speaker, or they finally get in front of somebody that can give them the information they need, they don't know the right questions to ask them.
For sure. And so, when you made that first investment, man, purchasing that workshop, what was that moment like for you? What emotions were running through you? Like, were you nervous? Did you
And
think it was a fluke? What'd you think?
I was nervous, but I
Yeah.
told myself no matter what, if I just learn one thing, it's worth the investment. And so now I go into these things, and every day I'm buying courses, products, subscriptions to something, because my thing is, if this one thing, small thing, can take my business to extra 10-15%, what would that do for my company? So I look at things based on what are the exact things. So when I look to go find something, like maybe I'm struggling with building funnels, I'm gonna go find somebody. Only thing he knows is how to build funnels, how to put them together, and how to get them to convert. I don't want him to show me anything else about sales. And then I'm gonna go pay him his rightful earned money. I'm gonna learn it. And if it takes me a while to sit in my office late at night because I got too much going on, I'm gonna watch that course and I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna take down these notes, right? I always keep a notebook. The best investment you can make is a 197 notebook from Walmart. And you just write your notes down, and then you go through your notes and make sure that you implement the notes that you learn.
Man, that's incredible. Incredible piece of advice, man. And when I was doing my research on you, something interesting that I saw was that, you talk a lot about, or you talk about automated businesses. So, I want to ask you, what is an automated business and what would you say are some of the benefits of having an automated business?
So automated business is, right, instead of you trying to come in and learn the hard and soft skills it takes to run a business and try to learn all the back end stuff, and there's an 80% chance you may fail in doing all of that, right? So an automated business is nothing more than a done for you type of setup business where someone is willing to manage that business for you for an upfront fee and some type of back end split. And all you got to do is become what we call a passive partner. You bring something to the table, and most of the time is money, right? So I think that automated businesses will take off in the near future, where more businesses will be a done for you type of thing. And because look at it like this, bro, right? I cracked the code last year with it when I was giving training and selling products to people, and no matter what, they always found a way to complain about the process. And what I realized is that I'm just selling just a piece to that puzzle. And then you're telling them, hey, go solve the rest of the puzzle to yourself. But then I say, yo, what if I give these people the entire puzzle already done, and all they got to do is hang it up on the wall and just thread it? That'll be a better process than you go to him and me and her and over there, and you put all these pieces together and you still can't figure it out and you're upset you spent all this money. So for me, like we're really going deep with, that automated business model where we're looking at a whole bunch of different online business models where we're going to take it, scale it, and some of the businesses where you got to start up and it's just an investment, then we scale it for you. Some of the business you can come in already and it got monthly recurring revenue. It already got revenue and you just basically buying into a piece of the business that's already doing well.
For sure, man. And how was that response? How was that reception once you started?
Crazy.
Yeah, once you started offering that entire, business as a whole and kind of explaining it that way. How did people receive that?
Man, crazy. So far, I took hundreds of sales calls, especially in the Ecomm business that I'm doing currently. I really want to be hands-on. I really kind of put a lot of the other businesses not on pause, but I let some of my top tier employees really be hands-on and running for me while I step away to grow and scale this Ecomm business. And the one thing I learned is people got money. It's two things that they want some insurance on. They want to know that this concept is proven, and they want to know that you're confident that even if it don't work, you're willing to go just as hard for them to recoup the money they're giving you. And when I learned that and I started studying it, I realized like people, they have access to a lot of capital and they just looking for something where they're not even trying to be a millionaire or be rich. They just want something to pay their bills.
Exactly. Exactly. So, with you wearing multiple hats, man, and running these four businesses, which one, I know this might be a tough question, but like which business would you say, I guess, resonates with you the most or might be your favorite or like the kind of special one to you, or do you see all of them on the same scale, same level?
Every business serves purpose, but so far I'm loving this Ecomm business. It's a different thing. I love building stuff from scratch and watching it grow and the challenges that come with it. Like a lot of the stuff we're doing in the Ecomm business, it's not even a standard here in the industry. So as we go against the grain and try to elevate and reframe what an Ecomm business or automation service is, we're going to run across some bumps in the road. I'm cool with that. But most importantly, the partner and the client gets a fabulous service that they can work with us years to come.
For sure, man. And one thing, like doing this interview right now, is getting me energized because I can tell for one, you like to figure things out yourself. You mentioned earlier, like put the puzzle pieces together, and I could tell you like to solve puzzles. And then two is like I could tell you're not afraid of that hard work, and it's like contagious, like the
Right.
energy and the vibe you giving off right now is contagious.
Yeah, I like working hard, man. I don't run away from no work. I know like most people out here, they get pumped up about the thought of starting a business or thought of making $1 million. And then when it comes down to performing and doing the work, they flatline. And that's something that no one can teach you. No coach, nobody can kind of put that in you. If it ain't in you, ain't in you, honestly.
For sure, man, for sure. And so, another interesting fact that I wanted to point out too is that, you're a real estate investor as well as a business owner. So, what would you say is the importance of having like multiple streams of income? And then what led you to create, multiple revenue streams for yourself?
So multiple streams of income, at first it was a luxury. And then like now these days, man, you gotta have bread coming in from all different places because if your main hustle or your side hustle go down, everything stops. So one of the things as me been working for myself since 2013, I realized it's a marathon. And you gotta, the landlord don't want to hear you ain't got it this month. There's no unemployment to go run back to. Like everything is all on you. So I just tell people, yo, if you can create multiple businesses and you don't have to create businesses in different niches, you can create multiple businesses running the same vertical and do just as well by providing services. Like I made my most money in service-based businesses. Most service-based business, you just need a good website, good reputation, and a service, and you can make a ton of money. Like unlike real estate, I kind of like not fall back, but I kind of like really step back and thought about it and say, why would I work hard for 8 months just to make $20,000 flipping a house when I can have my online businesses do that in a week? So you just got to think about what makes sense for you. And once you figure out what makes sense for you, come up with a game plan to dominate and execute.
For sure, for sure. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I see you're a podcaster and that you're the host of Nothing But Nuggets and the Entrepreneur Tool Belt. So, what would you say are some of the benefits that you've seen from hosting these different podcasts and just being able to get your message across?
Man, first of all, getting your message across, building your brand. I think everybody should own some type of podcast, some type of media outlet, right? I just think that it's a great asset to have. As far as relationships, the people I interview on my podcast, we always try to cultivate a relationship with them, even inviting them to an event that I'm hosting or doing a webinar together. If they have a product, I can use my email list to bring a webinar and then get a back end split. So I always tell people like, relationships is your biggest assets. You can really make a ton of money with good quality relationships. But yeah, I think that just having a podcast is to me is a good quality thing. And as you say, I got two different podcasts and they serve two different purposes. But I love doing podcasts.
For sure, for sure. I mean, you've been an entrepreneur for more than 2 decades, like we mentioned earlier. So, is that an interest that you've had since the beginning, or is it something that kind of developed over time to want to be an entrepreneur?
I'm a third generation entrepreneur. My grandfather was an entrepreneur. My daddy an entrepreneur. It was natural for me to be an entrepreneur. I watched my father struggle. He got it. He got his first business off the ground in 1997. And I watched him take different odd jobs, tow truck jobs, repossession, people shooting at him. And I told myself, like, I don't want that for myself. I want stability, right? And when I seen how he went from struggling to as he got that stability, and then next thing you know, he's behind Corvettes and stuff. Sometimes that material stuff kind of put that battery back to want to do certain things, honestly. And so, I said, yo, I want to be an entrepreneur. When I first came out of high school, I wanted to be a real estate investor, but the only thing I knew was, you got to be a realtor to invest. So, fortunately for me, it was a good thing. The real estate market crashed in 2008. I graduated 2007. And when I went to go get my license, at the time, my father went through a financial hardship because of the 2007 market crash. He lost the house. And next thing you know, he's licking his wounds. And the one thing I learned, and I tell people, your biggest teacher sometimes is watching people and looking at their bad moves they did and then taking notes on what not to do. And I say, yo, I'm going to diversify my business holdings, just like how people on the Bloomberg channel talk about diversify in their stock portfolio. Why shouldn't an entrepreneur have the common sense to say, yo, if a stock investor is smart enough to diversify their holdings, not to lose all their money, why shouldn't an entrepreneur diversify and own multiple businesses so they don't lose all their money? And ever since then, man, I've just been pushing the trigger and trying to get to my goals.
For sure, man, for sure. And I know a little earlier you hit on that you watched Bloomberg, as a child growing up, and you talk a little bit about stocks now, man. So, and I know you do financial literacy and help teach financial literacy to kids. So, what would you say is just the importance of, if not even investing in stocks, but just learning about it and getting familiar with the concept of the stock market?
Yeah, I don't own one stock, right? I believe in just owning businesses, right? Like the thought of a president or a dictator or war or anything coming about and it makes this market tank or move or swing, and that's not my style, right? I like stability. But just teaching people financial literacy, like if I would have known what I know now about credit and how to leverage credit and how to go to the Navy Federal and get loans and get business loans and how you can, have, 10 different American Express cards with $50,000 limits and, they give you as much credit as you want. And if I would have known some of that stuff, I wouldn't have struggled so early in my entrepreneurial career because I would have had the capital to scale and grow. So I just think that everybody should understand financial literacy. I think everybody should understand what a credit score is, what a credit report is. I think everybody should understand how to use debt in the right way. And I think everybody should just have long-term goals where they, have some type of ownership in a business. You might not be the day-to-day operator, but like I said, you can become the passive investor. Who's going to pay for that? Maybe swipe your American Express card. Maybe go to Navy Federal and I just hope one of my partners get a $25,000 loan to rearrange debt. So you just don't know what you don't know. And that's why it's important to educate yourself. Listen to podcasts, buy the ebooks. Now we at a point in society where you can buy an $18 or $27 ebook from someone who's teaching information. And that ebook is packed with just as much information as a 300-page college book.
For sure, for sure. I mean, and an important thing about the companies that you run is that you provide business owners with a team. So, what would you say is the importance of having a team, and how did you focus on building yours?
Man, having a team is everything because at the end of the day, you only could do so much. You only got 24 hours. You only got two hands, two sets of eyes, and one brain. So to be able to hire people and to take your ideas and accelerate them by bringing in quality people is an amazing tool once you understand it. So when I started building my team, I built my team because I knew for a fact I couldn't do everything by myself. Now in the real estate world, especially wholesaling real estate, that's a lot of people that preach you don't need a team, you could do it by yourself, roll your sleeves up. But most of these people, they're not real legitimate entrepreneurs. They just people that maybe caught a wave, that maybe is good at a few things, but they don't know what it really takes to go and scale a business. So I think that everybody, if you have the money, listen, if you can't afford a $4 hour VA, you should reconsider working for yourself. So a $4 hour VA, most of my business, all my businesses run with VA. I have no American employees. So a $4 hour VA probably will set you back. I usually have part-time VAs, maybe 20 hours a week, maybe $80 a week for one person. So imagine if you can take it, let's say for example, you got a $300 a week budget. If you can take $300 and divide it by 80, whatever that number is, that gets you 3 to 4 good quality employees that can come in and change your business to the point where you can buy back maybe 120 hours worth of productivity, and you can just be the person that think and innovate and grow your business instead of rolling your sleeves up and working hard at your business.
For sure, man. And that's just another gem and another piece of great advice. So, what would you say are like some of the things that motivate you and inspire you to just keep going and not quit, man? Who would you say are some of your inspirations?
Man, my immediate family, man, my 2 boys, shout out to them, Jaden and Antoine Jr., and my lovely wife, right? She's a strong lifetime partner that I'm so, fortunate and luckily to have. So, that motivates me to the point that if you ever think about it, like, yo, what happens if you can't provide for your children, or you can't do the basic things for them, such as buy them shoes and clothes, or put them on a train and take them to Disney World? Like, to me, that's heartbreaking, because that's the basic minimum things you should be able to do as a man or woman, whoever listens to the podcast. And I think that they really encourage me, and they really, cheer me on. They're my biggest cheerleaders. And if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be as motivated, because as you start to make money, that money makes you a little complacent if you don't have a bigger goal. So if you don't have nothing to take care of or nobody to help out, and you got enough just yourself, that's when you see a production going down, because you don't have no urgency.
How do you define success as an entrepreneur?
I don't think success is driven from a money perspective. I think success as an entrepreneur is being able to accomplish your goals in a consistent manner, and being able to outthink and really elevate whatever you got going on. To me, that's success, right? When you look at some of the biggest entrepreneurs, the Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, they was known for innovation. They was known for taking something that people say, nah, you can't do that, and going against the grain and reinventing the way people think and do business. And to me, that's ultimately what success is.
So, what would you say is the most important reason for your success?
The most important reason for my success, honestly, I think is discipline, right? Like, I reinvented myself a few times, right? I was selling tags and I was really focused on real estate. Then I really became the guy that's helping entrepreneurs. And along the way, there have been struggles, right? But at the end of the day, the plan never changed. Staying an entrepreneur, making great money, keeping a roof over my family here, and just staying relevant to the point that people need me, right? You always got to provide a service to people to the point that they need you.
For sure, for sure. And so, how would you like for people to remember you and your companies?
Man, I just want people to say, yo, that guy and his company helped my business. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be in business today. If it wasn't for him, I probably couldn't afford the education that he's giving out, because the next man's charging 3 times more than that.
What does the future of the Antoine Campbell conglomerate look like to you?
Man, for real, my Antoine Campbell, starting up 929 Capital, owning hotels and resorts, maybe taking on a few investors, creating partners. In fact, the plan is all of my Ecomm partnerships is to ultimately turn them into long-term investors, where they invest in projects, hotels and resorts and things of that sort. And just buying businesses. You know, when I looked at people who made real money in entrepreneurship, it was taking a business, making it sellable, and literally selling it, right? Selling it, whether you're selling a majority of it, you're selling a percentage of it. That's one of the biggest things. And then taking the Antoine Campbell Enterprise, maybe public one day. That'll be a great thing to do, to ring the bell at the stock market.
That's incredible, man. Antoine, thank you so much for your time today, brother. I definitely learned a lot from you. But before I let you go, at the end of every podcast, we like to play a rapid fire question game where I ask you 3 questions. So, if you're willing to play, I'll go ahead and ask.
Sure, come on.
Question number 1, where's your favorite place to travel?
West Palm Beach, Florida.
Why?
Beautiful, man. And I got plenty of family down there. And they don't have state taxes, so I'm looking to move there.
For sure. All right, question number 2. What song represents your life the most?
Man, 50 Cent, Hustle Ambition.
That's hard. All right, look, final question. What's an amazing thing that you did that no one was around to see?
Man, I've done so much stuff. I let these boys in one of my events. They young, hungry guys. They didn't really have much. They told me they didn't have no bread. Let them in my event, and now they're doing $100,000 months in real estate wholesaling.
That's crazy, Antoine, man. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for the game.
Man, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for having me on.